everybody, welcome back. I'm Becky, and this is surviving and thriving during perimenopause. So today's topic is why all the hush. This always confuses me. I ask women in my family what their symptoms were, and I always get hot flashes, or like my mom, who claims she had no symptoms whatsoever, which is absolute crap because I experienced her symptoms firsthand. Her blood pressure went up. She started having swelling and bloating. Her feet and ankles would swell severely. Her mood swings were so severe that I was beginning to question if she had become bipolar. I mean, off the hook mood swings. Just 1 minute she would be happy and fine and normal, but the littlest thing would set her off. At the time I was like, whew, what the hell's going on with my mom? She was going through a change, and that's what it boils down to. She had no idea that's what it was. She kept complaining that she was sweating more. Must be the Florida heat. Well, yeah, Florida is hot, and I'm a woman that rarely ever broke a sweat down here, and I've spent my life down here outdoors, and there was some days in the summer where the heat would be intense. I kid you not. On days like that, you come outside and you feel like you're breathing through a straw. But I was never one of those people that sweat a lot. Maybe I was dehydrated my whole life, I'm not sure, but when I started going through the change, that changed a lot. I started sweating all the time. I became extremely sensitive to heat. Just cooking in my kitchen can trigger a hot flash these days. So if women really sat down and thought about everything that they were experiencing from the age of 35 and up, most likely that was them having perimenopause symptoms. And women don't pass this information on. It's a taboo subject because men don't want to hear about it. Well, I don't give a dang what a man wants to hear about. It's part of my life, and you're going to hear about it. I'm going to complain and moan. I might have a day where I cry. That's rare for me. I'm not an emotional person like that. But I have had those emotional days. And the funniest thing happened to me a couple of years ago. I was having pretty severe symptoms at that time. And I was watching a Nike shoe commercial and burst into tears, all emotional over it. I have no idea why. And it wasn't anything special. I look at it now and I'm like, there wasn't really anything emotional about that commercial, but something in it struck me and I got all emotional and was crying over it, and my husband thought I lost it. And afterwards, when I was done with it, I was like, woo, that was definitely a peri thing there, because I eat Bambi, so things don't affect me that way. They never have. And I'm Aquarius, so we're emotionally detached naturally. But I had noticed also that I was having mood swings. Like, I would just wake up some mornings angry at the world for no reason whatsoever. Just feel like there was this rage inside of me, and I didn't understand what was happening at that time, because doctors were still telling me that I was too young to be in the change, and that's not true at all. There are women going through their change of life in this day and age in their 20s. They have a baby, or they get into a severe car accident, something traumatic happens to their body, and it throws them into the change. Absolutely. A trauma to your body can cause you to go into premature perimenopause, the premature change of life. Now, it doesn't happen to everybody, but mine was triggered that way. I had an accident, and it was pretty severe and traumatic. And it triggered me into going into my change. It put such a shock on my body that I started immediately going through my change. I started immediately having hot flashes and sweating profusely and gaining weight. What else was it? The vertigo. That was horrible. And now I look at it, it's like I understand what happened, and a doctor did explain to me that it was probably the trauma that set that off. So don't be shocked, that a woman that's 25 or 28 or something is going through the change. Every one of us is different, and things can trigger us going into the change of life. Now, by the change of life, I mean the perimenopause. That is your true change of life. All those symptoms leading up to menopause, when you finally have 12 straight months with no cycle, then you are in menopause. Until then, everything about your body is changing, and that is the change, really. Your body's readapting. And usually by the time a woman has gone into menopause, the 12 months without a cycle, usually she's through most of that. From everything I have been told and seen firsthand, there starts to be a decline in the symptoms as we approach that 12-month marker, or that period where we just stop having the periods. I so look forward to it. I really do. At this point, I've been having a cycle every month except for when I was pregnant twice. Every month since I was 12. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. Ready to move on to that next stage personally. The biological clock never started ticking for me. At no point after my last son did I start craving another child. I didn't have some drastic need to be a mommy again. I look at other people's babies and admire them while I've got them in my reach and enjoy their company, but at no point has a biological clock made me want another baby. Some women, I guess it does. I have not felt any type of emotional loss over this stage of my life. Like, I haven't looked at it and thought that I'm not a woman anymore, or that I won't be a woman anymore once I'm completely through this. I'm still me. I'm just a different me. I'm a more mature me. I'm a me that gets the freedom someday to not have to go to the store and buy pads and tampons every month. I'm a me that is going to have the freedom without children and stuff like that to travel and pursue my dreams, which I'm doing now anyways. So, no, I don't feel an emotional loss over, someday not being able to bear children. Well, I fixed that after my last kid. So 30 years ago, a month after my son was born, I got my tubes tied. I knew right then and there, with the hell I went through during that labor, I did not want any more, and 2 boys was plenty, plus my husband at that time had 2 sons from a previous marriage, so I had my hands pretty full at 18 raising 4 sons. I was good to go. I feel bad for the women that do seem to be experiencing something like this. Some women struggle their whole lives to have children, and it's like sometimes 1 or 2 pregnancies isn't enough for everybody. Well, bless your heart. You know, I feel bad for you if you're entering this stage and feel like you aren't finished. I don't recommend that at this point that you're getting pregnant. I honestly don't, because your eggs aren't viable anymore. They're shriveled up. There's problems. The babies are born with more problems. It's, you know, it's not safe for you or the baby in reality. You know, I don't wish that on anybody. You know, you're more prone to miscarriage at this stage in your life. It doesn't matter how old you are at all. If you're 25 and going through the change, that means you're experiencing the same things with your egg viability as I am at 48. So if you're going through it, I don't recommend that you get pregnant, you know, for your sake and the baby's sake. But do what you want. I'm no one to judge. That's just how life is sometimes. People have babies at all ages. A friend of mine got pregnant at 60. She unfortunately lost the baby because her body was 60 and her womb was 60. So, you know, she couldn't possibly do it. You know, her body couldn't handle it. But anyhow, I think in reality that people need to be talking more about these things. I couldn't go to my grandmother. My grandmother passed away when I was 4. You know, so I don't know what she went through other than hearing from my mom that she had months where she bled heavy, where she had several miscarriages during her change of life. I don't know. I just think that it's very important at this stage that we all share with the next generation, you know, with our future generations. And when you're playing with your grandbabies and they don't understand why you're tired, or, you know, why is your face so red, Grandma? Explain to them you're in your change of life. Tell them why, because they'll have a better understanding when they grow up and experience these things with themselves as a woman or as a husband. You know, just pass on the information as you experience it. Raise better sons and daughters. Raise smarter sons and daughters. And by all means, get online and do some research, because most of these doctors are uneducated in women's health. They have no idea what's going on. There is not a test out there that can say you're in your change of life, that you're in perimenopause. Because at this stage, our hormones fluctuate so drastically throughout every week of the month, every day of the month. You know, one day your hormones, your estrogen could be through the roof, you know, like a teenager's. The next day it could be bottomed out, you know, like you're 80. It's just, there's no test out there that can say, yes, you're definitely in your change, and no, you're not in your change. Chances are, if you're having symptoms, then you are starting to go through your change. Just look through the symptoms. Check my other video, the 66 symptoms of perimenopause. And if you're experiencing a few of those, chances are you're going through your change, and you need to prepare yourself for it, because it's a roller coaster, honey. But anyhow, thank you for joining me today. I just wanted to clarify that we should absolutely be sharing with everyone, and you know, or show your husband a little list of these symptoms. Write them all down, so that he can see what you might be experiencing, so that he has a better understanding and can be more supportive of you. My husband has the list in his phone, and when he sees that something is off, you know, he can go through that list and be like, oh, okay, you know, she must be experiencing this right now, or, you know, her mood might be off a little bit because of this right now. So, you know, and he's very supportive on all that. He never ever belittles me or makes fun of me for it. You know, in fact, I probably make fun of my symptoms far more than he does. He's extremely sensitive to me. And I think that's very important to have, that kind of emotional support from your spouse. And if you got a spouse that can't give you that, well, what the hell? He's not much of a spouse in my opinion. If he can't give you emotional support during this part of your life, and in reality, he's about to go through his own menopause, where his testosterone's going to drop. He's probably, you know, going to go buy a new sports car or a motorcycle and start eyeballing younger women. The reality is that's how it happens with men. You know, they start looking at younger women hoping to recapture their youth, whereas older women go through their change. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some out there. There are some women out there that become cougars. Whatever. I don't recommend it. I think it's foolish. But, you know, most of us settle into our lives at this stage. We discover who we really are and what we really want and expect out of life. And because our life clock is clicking at us now, is letting us know, hey, you're halfway through your life at this point. So whatever hopes and dreams you have, now's the time to start making those things happen. We learn who we are as humans at this stage, and we become comfortable with ourselves, I think. Or at least I have. And I've become a lot quicker to tell a person no or where to go. I'm not going to put up with anybody's crap at this point. I don't have to. I'm 48. Why do I need to put up with anybody's crap when I got enough of my own crap going on in my life myself with just my change of life? So anyhow, please share my videos with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. It's very important that we spread, you know, the news about this stuff, that we share this with the world. And ladies, just hang in there. It's going to get better, I promise. It really will. This is just temporary. Welcome to cronehood.